Today I'm going to be reviewing two different products. We have the Staresso Discovery hand grinder and we have the Staresso Mirage espresso machine. It's a portable espresso machine. We're going to be going over these two products and what I like and don't like about each one of them. First off, I do want to give a disclosure that both of these were sent to me in exchange for a review. I reached out to them because somebody responded to a Pico Presso video I did asking me to review this. So that's what I did, and they graciously sent this over to me. However, all they did was give me a contract of I have to make a few videos for them. They don't get to see any of these videos, and I have full freedom on what I can say about them. But first off, I just want to say welcome to Kabin's Coffee Corner. If this channel helps you in any way, please like and subscribe. That helps me produce more videos and more content. If you're looking at purchasing these, please use the links in the description below where I'll make a slight commission at no extra charge to you. And lastly, I have an Instagram page that you're more than welcome to follow me at as well. So first off, I'm going to go into the Staresso Discovery, which was a bonus ask that I asked for them. They offered to send me this and I asked for this as well. So we have a nice little hand grinder. It feels nice to use. We have a nice little magnetic handle and a screw-on lid here. Nice metal bearings on the inside of it. It seems pretty sturdy. I do have some issues with the knob coming off, but I think that's a way that I hand grind because I've had that on a lot of different grinders and I've had that issue quite a bit. It just pops off when I grind. I think I pull up too much when I grind. On the bottom of it, you'll see the adjustment ring, which you'll have to put the knob back on, and then it has a simple click adjustment mechanism on the inside, going all the way from 1 to 11, or 0 to 11, and you can also continue that beyond that one, so you can do more than one full rotation. And then we have one of the most unique things that I've seen, which is the catch cup. The catch cup is a threaded catch cup, which I find that threaded catch cups are definitely the way to go. I've found this incredibly useful in my end. It never falls off. I'm never concerned about it. I love it when grinders do this. So if you're making hand grinders, please thread the catch cup. Next is we have a sifter on the inside of it. So basically what this allows is it allows for any fine grinds to pass through the sifter and then get into the cup, so it's not getting into your pour over at the end and then you dump whatever's in the sifter into your cup. This does go into a little bit loss of like retention in a sense. So like if you put 18 grams in and you grind for espresso, you're going to get like 14.5 out, and it's going to actually do 3.5 grams of fines for espresso that you're not going to want in your cup. So I do find that pretty smart in the sense of when you're making pour overs, it does give you a nice clean cup because of that, because it allows all those fines out in the cup. However, it does kind of make a little bit messy of an experience, and it's just kind of disappointing, but it does allow the grinder to come in at a sub 100 par place where you can actually utilize it for pour overs and things like that, where it's kind of hard to find grinders under $100. There's a few by like Time War and some other companies and stuff like that. And there you go. There's the Staresso Discovery. It's got a nice grip on the thing, grip on the, I don't know, the cylinder, whatever you want to call that. All right, moving on to the Staresso Mirage. This is a portable espresso machine, and basically what happens is you flip this out like so, and the whole thing flips upside down, and you got yourself a nice little catch cup right here. So this catch cup is for your espresso, of course, and then you twist this little knob and you push through, and that produces espresso. It comes with this nice little stand, which makes it a little bit easier to utilize while brewing. This is the tamper and the scoop. I'll get into that more later, in my opinion. So we're going to unscrew this part here, and it's got a few different pieces. It's got this little metal cylinder here that screws onto the bottom, and I'm going to call that the portafilter. And I just got some water everywhere from when I just used this recently. And we got the dispersion screen here, and we have the basket here. The basket I find incredibly interesting, and I find it interesting because the basket presses out. So you push this little piece on the bottom here, and it presses the basket out to make it clean, to make cleaning a little bit better on here. I'm going to dry off a few of these pieces because it kind of makes a little bit of a mess when you utilize things right before, and you don't allow it to dry before you make a video. I was doing some testing for it to get my last final thoughts on here. All right, so like I said, we have our dispersion screen. We have, I don't know what you'd call this, but this makes the entire portafilter basket and allows you just to simply push that up to get rid of that puck when you're done with it. So you're going to put the basket, in this portafilter here, and you're going to put the dispersion screen on top right here with this little tab sticking out. Screw that on, and then from there you're going to put it on the stand like so, and this part will then screw on. You'll fill it up in water, and there's some indication on the inside of how high you should fill it. You're going to stir that on, and then you're going to simply press down on the plunger, and you're going to press down about 15 times, and that's going to allow for the pre-infusion before it to drip. When you start seeing it drip, you're going to wait about 10 seconds or 15 seconds and then pull your shot of espresso into this lovely little cup that's metal, stainless steel, and silicone. So let's get on to a lot of the different things with these. First off, I'm going to give you my full opinions on the Staresso Discovery. I've used this with the Staresso Mirage, and I've used it with pour over as well. I've also used the Staresso with other grinders outside of the Discovery to give it my full opinions on what it is. So first off, I started using this Discovery with the pour over, V60 pour over at work. That was kind of my go-to, and I had really, really good results with it. I think when you grind for pour over and you aren't grinding for espresso and it removes those fines, I think that's incredibly good. And I think it's a pretty smart idea that they added that sifter built into the grinder. It makes it pretty easy to travel with, and it gives you pretty clean results as you go on with it. So I was quite pleased with the results that I got in pour over. However, when I tried to use the Staresso with it, that was when the Staresso Mirage with it, that was when I had an issue. I put it all the way down to 3, thinking that that was going to be a good starting point for espresso. When I grind my 18 grams, it then came out at 14.5. Pulled my shot and it was just terrible, and then tried again at 2 and it was still terrible, and then again at 1, and I could not get it dialed in well with this machine. Therefore, if you're looking at purchasing the grinder, I would consider recommending it for pour over. I would not consider recommending it for espresso, and it kind of depends on the price point that you get. If it's under $100, and if you could get it lower on the $100, depending on what kind of sales on Amazon, I wouldn't mind picking this up for 60 bucks or so. It gives you pretty good results. You're going to get a lot better grinders out there for a similar price point and not much higher. I think there's a new one by Turin Grinders. That's a hand grinder that's called the H40, and I think it's $110, and that just seems kind of like a no-brainer over this one if it's close in that one. But if you get it around the $60 mark, I wouldn't hesitate buying this, because it does produce a good pour over, and it is a good travel grinder of the realm of that. It comes with a nice little bag that I don't have with me and a brush to clean it. But overall, I do like this grinder for pour over, and I can see myself continuing using it for pour over. It does have some little issues here, like this doesn't sit perfectly on the top. The handle comes off a little bit like that, but it does feel nice to grind with, and I think that's an important aspect of it, and it does grind rather quickly. Moving on to the Staresso. So like I said, I tried it with the Discovery and it just did not work well for me, so I also tried it with a numerous amount of other grinders, one of them particularly being the DF83, which is known as probably one of the best values for money in espresso electric grinders now. It's got 83 millimeter flat bursts, and it's $700, and it's a great grinder to use for espresso, and really gets the job done. But overall, on the Staresso, I find the design and the ease of use on this pretty great, especially when comparison to the Pico Presso, where you have to kind of squeeze it like this. The pressing with this is nice. The stand does feel a little flimsy, but it doesn't feel like it's going to snap under the pressure, which is good. It's not metal, it is plastic, but it does feel pretty good on that realm of things. It does make a good shot of espresso if you have paired with a good grinder, and I think you'd be happy with the results. However, I did find it kind of finicky to dial in with the 15 or 18 pumps or whatever it is at the beginning. When it comes to the tamping and the loading of the grounds, there's no funnel that comes with this, and this is the tamper, which I don't consider as a tamper, so you're probably going to want to pick something up that's around a 51 millimeter, I believe it's 51 millimeter tamper, and that will work inside of this thing, and it will work pretty well. So I actually used the one from my PicoPresso and the funnel from my PicoPresso, and it helped quite a bit with that. It wasn't the best tamp in the world, but it wasn't the worst tamp in the world. It's definitely better than the results that it came with. I love this function of being able to push out the grounds with the portafilter. However, I do find this kind of messy in the fact that you kind of have to pop this off to really clean it. And I did notice that I started to bend this metal piece on the bottom of the portafilter rather quickly in there, and just overall wasn't super thrilled with this whole mechanism on the inside of it. And it's kind of tough to put together and kind of makes a mess considering this is around $100 machine. I love the mechanism of the pumping like I mentioned before, and it does give good shots, but it does take some work. That being said, I like the idea, I like the concept of how all of this fits together, and how there is a stand on the inside, or how the stand basically folds into it. The cup is included. The cup it's a cup, it's nothing special. And simply just how this locks and presses together, and it does seem like a pretty sturdy package, and seems like it does the job pretty well for that realm of things. If I can get it back together, yeah. So you got this nice little thing. It's got some silicone legs on it, but overall, if you're looking at buying the Mirage, I wouldn't recommend it. It can make espresso, but I think for the price point, the options are better. There's better options out there. You can get a better quality portable espresso machine that even takes up less space, like the PicoPresso by Wakeiko. Comes with a tamper, comes with a funnel, all fits inside of a smaller package, doesn't include a cup, but you can just pick up a different cup anywhere. Or most places you go will probably have a cup, and you don't have to worry about a stand or a flat surface to brew on. It's easier to put a scale underneath the cup because you have to kind of finagle it underneath the stand. But overall, I like the idea of this. I would like to just see a more robust basket where there's not all these silicone pieces and not all these gaps that you have to clean and remove this espresso from. But it does make okay espresso. It's not like it didn't blow me out of the water. The PicoPress blew me out of the water. This one didn't. But that's kind of my thoughts on that. It's just okay. I wouldn't necessarily recommend buying it. And the Discovery hand grinder, I would consider buying it depending on the price. If you want to see more comparisons between 4 different espresso machines, I've compared the Flare to this, to an Auden espresso machine that actually heats up the water, into the PicoPresso, compared all of those side by side. And if you want to check that out, you can find that on a recent video on my channel, but I'd love to hear your feedback on this. Also, this is a new studio space, so let me know what you think. Let me know what you think needs to be added, need to be changed. I'm trying out some new things here and trying to make this a little bit easier for me to film on a weekly basis when I produce content. But I want to say again, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to you and be any kind of help that I can be in your espresso journey. Thanks so much for watching.